Hello. After finishing the game made with the Pygame library, I took a pretty long break and finally decided to start another game, where, in this case, I will use Godot. This Godot is a free and open source game engine. Use it to create 2D and 3D games. The first step is to know the Godot.
A few moments later.
Okay, now, I understand how it works. Now let's start making the game.
Yeah, boy.
I want this game to be repetitive, but in the end we will see how it will reach the end. From 2D to 3D game is something, and Blender will help us. At first we need a player who can move. In this case I will choose the player to be a character body 3D, and I will attach collision shape 3D, a mesh instance and a camera. But this player needs to stand on something, and in this case I made an island in Blender. So that the player doesn't fall, I added a static body 3D and a collision shape 3D to the island. And the player to have movement, we need inputs that are at the project settings, input map, and we add new actions. After we establish the action, we will use them in code, but I decided to add a double jump to the player. After that, I made several islands that the player could jump. Finally, I added movement to the islands. This took me a few days because I wanted each island to respawn behind the last island when it passed the player. At this point, the game looks pretty bold, and let's add some objects to it. I added some buildings, rocks and some bushes. The game is quite boring. You jump from one island to another. And in this case I'm going to introduce an enemy into the game who will be the eye. Okay, I know he looks ugly, but he's good. Let's add some movement to him too. Now the enemy just moves around the map, but doesn't do anything. Finally I added a kind of bullet, which if it touches me, I will lose the game.
Watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet!
At the moment the game is not full. We need to add some scenes to it. The first scene is the start, where in this scene we added some objects. Then the option scene, where it can be obtained if the player clicks on the button in the start scene. And the loss scene is when the player loses in the game, which is activated when the player is at -20 on velocity E. Finally I reached the end of the video. And I know it's short, but that's it. This game was made in one day and started from the idea of seeing how many ideas I could implement in just one day for a game, since I'm a beginner at creating video games. Thanks for watching. If I said something wrong, please write in the comments.